Good evening and welcome everyone to a Committee of the Whole. If I could call to order with approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Councillor Pearson.
Second.
Councillor Casper, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay. And this evening we have a presentation, the Nature Trail Society, the Executive Director, Daniel Camiad? Yes, if you would like to come forward, Mr. Camiad. If you could just spell your name for the record, please.
My full name or my last name?
The last name's good, thanks.
Okay, Camiad, C-A-M-M-I-A-D-E.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you. As you've just mentioned, my name's Daniel Camiad. I am a local author and cartographer who is actively advocating for the accessibility to nature for all ages. I'm also the executive director of the Nature Trail Society. It's a not-for-profit society, and we're here to ask for your written support of our vision. I've brought with me a short video that I'm going to show to you now, and then after that, I would be happy to answer any questions.
Within our local parks, there are hundreds of kilometers of trails that aren't shown on any maps. Right now, these networks are only used by a select few locals, but these trails have tremendous potential for authorized hiking, cycling, and equestrian use. All corners of Greater Victoria can be explored on two incredible routes. One 70-kilometer loop extends west through Langford and the Souk Hills to Leechtown, and then returns via the Galloping Goose Trail. The other 35-kilometer loop travels through Thetis Lake and Mount Work Regional Parks before crossing over to the Saanich Inlet via Goldstream Provincial Park. Now, as a result of recent shared use advocacy accomplishments in Gowl and Todd Provincial Park and the new ownership of Bear Mountain, there is an opportunity to link the entire system together. By formalizing and upgrading these trail alignments, we will create a world-class nature trail circuit in our own backyard. Improving local health, fitness, and natural exploration, we will reap the benefits of increased economic development through outdoor recreation in Victoria.
I guess that should say Victoria and the region. Does anybody have any questions?
Yes, Daniel, welcome. And just for the other members of the council, Daniel was part of a group that made a presentation to the Regional Parks Committee. It was last Wednesday, correct?
That's right.
Yeah. And, you know, I would, you know, dare to say that it was, received as, with some enthusiasm, and it's been referred back to staff to deal with some logistical issues, whether or not there's any problems relating to work or collective agreement matters, and just to, work with staff on it, from a regional perspective, as most of these lands do fall under the jurisdiction of the Capital Regional District, correct?
A lot of them do, yes.
Yes. And so, I would hope that council could lend support to this initiative. It's not necessarily a cut and dry automatic decision that would come to fruition immediately, because, as I think Daniel acknowledges, that yes, there's a lot of work that still has to be done on this.
Absolutely.
So anyway, I just want to thank you for making the presentation here and informing the councillors, and I'd urge them to ask any questions, because we had actually a good discussion at the regional parks on the matter. So,
thank you.
Okay, Councillor Parkinson, then Councillor Logan, and then Councillor.
I was just curious for funding for the park. So where is that coming from? And are there different stakeholders in it, as I see here?
Yeah, there are different stakeholders. Right now, we have funding support from EcoAsis, who's the recent owner of Bear Mountain, and that's helped us to connect some of these visions. We are also looking into some other funding sources. We've got a major funder that I can't really divulge who it is, but who's looking to help us employ some in-need youth to help do the work. We're not looking for any funding from CRD or from SUC or any of the other municipalities.
Councillor Logans.
Thanks for the presentation. I was just wondering, Brenda kind of asked my question, which is great. I just wanted to follow up and ask, what is it exactly that you would like from us today?
Oh, thank you. I'm just really looking for written support for the vision that SUC would be interested in a shared use, single track, natural surfaced trail network, like what was described on the video.
Perfect. I would make a motion that we provide that.
Seconder? Okay, second, Councillor Pearson. But Councillor Pearson, you had a comment you'd like to make?
Yeah, thank you for your presentation tonight, Daniel. That's excellent. Okay, I just was like in the presentation and then saying, so you've got the existing shared use trail and then shared use trails in progress, which are the dotted blue lines, correct?
Yes.
And then opportunities for shared use. And this is just the vision piece, right? Is that what I'm understanding?
That's right.
So the red that joins there by the Shake Mill or the 4-lane passing, right? That goes up through that, and that's that south loop. What's that little blue piece that sort of looks like it's in the middle? There, across, is that across private land? And that's the kind of what I was...
So the one where you've just got a little white call-out box that says Mountain Ocean Views?
Yes.
That's crowned land, and I've already spoken with the ministry, and they've given us approval to use it.
Okay, good. So there's an existing trail, because there's quite a good cut trail through here. So I just wanted to kind of know the definitions of the opportunities for shared use. What does that mean to me when I'm reading this?
So the opportunities for shared use would be to connect the red segments so that it's a complete loop that people would be able to use for shared use. So that would be non-motorized, equestrian, hiking, or cycling.
Okay, so in its current status, it's not a shared use trail. So.
The red segments are actually not defined as any use.
Oh, okay. And I guess that's what I was trying to define was that means to me that you're looking to get that included in the 70-kilometer loop, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's exciting. It's a great idea.
Thank you.
Cool.
Councillor Berger?
Thank you. Thanks for coming today. I agree with Councillor Pearson. It's exciting to see the opportunity for a shared use trail to be up in the Sioux Hills Wilderness Park, which is most of it's Crown land, and most of the part on this, obviously towards Leechtown, is all CRD owned. But we've had lots of people asking for more access to get up and enjoy the lakes and stuff that are up in that Sioux Hills Park. So I think it'd be fantastic to have an actual designated trail through there. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And just lastly, I'm excited as well. We ride to Leechtown quite often, so it would be nice to be able to do another part of a loop. So thank you for your time for coming this evening. And we have a motion on the floor. I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Oh, sorry. I just heard Councillor Parkinson down there. There should be an opportunity for public input before we move that motion. Yes.
I just have a question. What about liability?
Okay. If you could come to the front, please, Mrs. Lures.
It's for the purposes of the video.
Okay.
Yeah. There we go.
I just have a question. Whose liability is it? Is it a CRD liability or?
The Nature Trail Society covers insurance that covers both the land manager or landowner should somebody have an accident and try to come back for compensation, as well as covering the trail workers when they're building if they should have an accident and something should happen, as well as the board. So we're fully covered as far as liability goes.
Under your?
Under the Nature Trail Society, yes.
Nature Trail. And what about WCB and that type of thing as well?
Well, with a volunteer situation, there's no WCB is usually around an employment, so compensating somebody's wages should they get injured. So it actually doesn't come into play when we're doing trail building with the volunteers.
Okay, thank you.
And just for clarification, Mrs. Lures, you're speaking in terms of the work being done, not actually the use of the trail?
Both.
Like both? Because, I mean, I'm not sure in terms of part of this trail system is the Galloping Goose, so I'm not quite sure how that would work once we have access through the CRD.
Well, I agree. The Wilderness Park is CRD Park, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Galloping Goose is CRD. And then you're crossing private land.
The only private land that we're crossing right now is the Bear Mountain, which is owned by Ecoasis, and we have an agreement with them.
Okay.
Okay.
Does that answer your questions, Mrs.
And the
Lures?
liabilities covered as well.
Yeah, they've been named as additionally insured.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Councillor Pearson?
Okay, just as for some clarity, because this is committee of the whole, so we made a recommendation. Now, this goes to regular council meeting for the, I just
Yes.
want to make sure that.
That's correct. We're
Thank
just
you.
doing the public input portion.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. All right, is there anybody else that would like to speak? Okay. And just for the record, can I call the question again? Did you have some? Oh, okay. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. So the recommendation will go to council to be considered.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for coming out this evening. Okay. The next item is current issues and public input related to the presentation that we've heard this evening. Okay. On that, can I get an adjournment? Yes, I know as it relates to the presentation, Nature Trails and Society. It has to relate to that? Yes, Mrs. Hall, we had a legal opinion today. Well, I won't take that personally. It's the business of the District of Souk. So.
I have a question on that. So when it states current issues, that means current to what's just on this agenda and nothing else?
That is
It's
correct.
not current issues of what's happening?
No, it's not.
Okay.
No, you are correct.
That's really deceiving.
It is, and you're absolutely correct, Mrs. Lures and Mrs. Hall. It is confusing.
Excuse me, I asked, I think it was Tina, last week at the City Hall, and she told me as well that this public input was the public to give their opinion on current issues in the
Yeah.
district.
Unfortunately, or I shouldn't say unfortunately, today received a legal opinion from our lawyer that says that our bylaw specifically speaks that it has to be for the matters that are on the agenda, even for the committee of the whole. I apologize for any confusion. It's been at issue, and we had the legal consultant opinion given today. All I can say is I didn't write the bylaw, I didn't vote on the bylaw, I didn't pass the bylaw, but that is the bylaw. It's a legal consult. Ms. Sullivan or Mr. Joseph?
Madam Chair, basically, your bylaw from the time it was passed in 2009, I can't comment on what happened before, but your bylaw is very clear that since 2009, no one should have been speaking in front of council on an issue that wasn't on the agenda, be it on a council meeting or a committee of the whole. If someone did that, then that was incorrect. And that's was my advice to you last week, and it was also confirmed by legal counsel today. It's very clear in Section 19 that members of the public can speak to an issue on the agenda, and it's also clear in Section 60 that committees, as well as committee of the whole, respond to the same rules and are bound by the same rules as council. And those bylaws are on our website if anyone wants to look at them.
Thank you, Mr. Joseph.
So I have a question in regards to that. So that when we talk about our agenda, so because we had this on previous council, with an opinion as well, that if on previous minutes, if they're attached to the agenda, the residents are allowed to speak to any issue that is in this package. Right?
I would have to go back and check with legal counsel on that, but there's a difference between speaking to the quality of the minutes versus speaking to them as a subject.
I'm not saying the quality. I'm just saying if there was something in the minutes, one of the minutes that someone wanted to speak to, say it was on the parks, just for example, then and it's in the previous minutes, they would be able to speak to that, right?
That I will have to get back to you on.
Okay.
That's a dicey one.
Okay.
Okay, I'll call for an adjournment. Thank you, Councillor Berger.